fury for Gnome Regon!
With over 120 new cards on the way in Goblins Vs Gnomes, things will be changing a lot in the world of Hearthstone. I'm Aski and I'm here to take a look at some of the neutral common cards that are coming out.
Everything they seem to make is salty or explode.
First up we have the Annoyatron. Personally, although this card will have its uses, I think there are better 2-mana drops. The main use for the Annoyatron will be in control decks, as it will likely take a couple turns to clear him off the board in the early game, buying the user a little bit of time. Next up is the Clockwork Gnome. The Gnome is an okay card. In a mech deck he can be useful as he'll be a solid turn 1 play, and there'll be cards that can get extra value from having a mech on the field. He also summons up a spare part when he dies. This is a new mechanic introduced in the expansion and adds a random spell card to your hand. In a mech deck he'll be useful. Outside of that, I think there are stronger 1-mana cards. The Cogmaster is the kind of card that will get a benefit from having a mech on the board already, as he gains 2 attack. Obviously he'll be great in a mech deck and terrible in anything else. The Tinkertown Technician is another card that summons up a spare part. This time however it's a battle cry that also gives him +1 to health and attack if you have a mech on the board. This card is great value if you can get his battle cry to take effect. 3 mana for a 4/4 and a spare part card, he avoids things like Priest Shadow Words and many early game spells, making him hard to remove. The Explosive Sheep is going to be a card we're going to be seeing quite a lot of. This 1/1 deals 2 damage to all the other minions on the board when it dies. For classes like the Mage and the Druid, this works like a mini Hellfire when they kill it with their hero power. Other than that, it's a solid counter to aggressive decks, and as a bonus, it's a mech. Mech Warper. Now this card is going to be a must-have in most mech decks. If we compare it to other 2-mana cards, he's probably most like the River Crocolisk. The Croc is used in beast decks, where the Warper is used in mech decks. The bonus the Warper has is his card text also reduces the cost of future mechs while he's on the field. Micro Machine. This card is interesting. It starts out as a 1/2 but gains 1 attack at the end of each turn. This includes your opponents. This means if you play him out and he survives to your next turn, he'll be a 3/2, after that a 5/2 and so on. Now the problem as far as I'm concerned is that without a health buff he won't last that long, perhaps onto your next turn but not for long after that, and in that case you might as well have played out a 3/2 minion that's 2 mana. If you can buff his health however and he lives for a while, he can get very powerful. Piloted Shredder. This card costs 4 mana, he has okay attack but poor health, and his Death Rattle summons up a 2-cost minion. If we say most 2-cost minions average out around a 2/2, that's some pretty good value. Next up we have the Spider Tank. He has an okay stat line, much like the Yeti or the Bolt of his Ogre. This card is just good stats with no card text. The only problem is that he'll be in range of a Priest Shadow Word Pain and 4 damage spells, of which there are a few, meaning the Yeti at 1 more mana is still likely a better card outside of mech decks anyway. The Antique Heal Bot. This 3/3 heals your hero for 8 health as a battle cry. Personally, healing the hero has little value out of some specific decks, and a 3/3 for 5 mana isn't going to last very long on the board. Not my favourite card, but I'm sure someone will come up with some good play for it and prove me completely wrong. The last of the cards announced when I'm making this video is the Burly Rockjaw Trog. This 4 mana minion is a 3/5 but gains 2 attack whenever your opponent casts a spell. This is one of the most interesting cards available. His stat lines are okay, just 1 less attack than your average 4 mana card, but he has potential to get quite strong if not dealt with. He could also be used to throw a spanner in the works against a spell heavy deck. Well, that is all the common cards currently announced, but they're revealing more all the time, and if you head on over to hearthstone.gamepedia.com you can see all the latest cards and all the information about the new expansion. The link is in the description below. Alternatively, you can check out one of the links on screen now. Don't forget to like and subscribe and leave us a comment if you have anything to add, but for now I've been Aski, and thank you for watching.